this morning. I want to continue to promote our GCU offering, kind of show you some of the things that are new with GCU. I'm going to get it started here in just a couple of minutes here. I've got a few more people logging on. Just in case if you have questions as we do move through the webinar, if you click on your little orange icon up in the upper right-hand corner, you can type your questions in. We have a guy on the other end. His name is Todd Weiss. He will answer your questions as we move through the webinar, and if we need to read some of those back at the end of it, we will. So here in just about a minute, we'll get started. Hang on, I'll be right with you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here so everybody can get on to their work week and finish up the week. Everybody I know is pretty busy right now with AEP coming on board, so including myself. I haven't got all my certifications done yet, so I did get the AHIB done, but that's about as far as I've got. Anyway, GCU, guys, gals, is a family-oriented organization. They've got a very rich history of taking care of agents and customers alike. They've been in business since back in 1892. Their domicile is Pennsylvania. Their home quarters is in Beaver, Pennsylvania. So they've been around, got a really good presence in the state of Pennsylvania and the surrounding areas. And they're introducing their Med Supp here to several other, companies. So anyway, a little bit about their financials. If you need these, we have several of these we can send out to you. Sometimes people want you to drop these things off. This is a little standard analytical book that they use, and their assets are, as you can see, over $1 billion. Total income over $235 million, and this was as the end of 2014. So a very, very good company. They have a lot of assets and a lot of reinsurance on this Medicare supplement project that they're introducing. So with that said, here's where they've eventually launched the product. They started out in the states in purple, as you can see. We also filed, believe it or not, Virginia at the exact same time, and hopefully by the end of this year, Virginia will get on board, but I'll tell you, trying to push a Med Supp offering through Virginia is not the easiest thing in the world. Seems like it takes an act of God to get Virginia to approve an offering. But hopefully by AEP it will be up and running, but it's not looking too good right now. So if you're listening for one of the states that are in purple right now, you can tell this product is very, very well priced, and we have a lot of agents starting to move a lot of this business already. So here is the offering for 2016. As you can see, if you look at what's currently out there and what we're rolling out as the different phases come through, this will be a fairly national product by the time it's all said and done. We have a lot of things on the drawing board for next year and 2017 also. Okay, so what does GCU offer you and I as agents? Well, first off, in the Medicare supplement world, you guys well know if you don't have a competitive, you can have the highest comp out there, but if you don't have a competitive product to sell, 100% comp doesn't do you much good. So these rates, as you'll see when I put these up here on the board, are very, very competitive. They do have a 7% household discount in every state. You can contract today, be approved, and be up writing business in 24 to 48 hours. I will show you what the agent portal looks like and kind of walk you through their online express app process. We do have a very financially solid operation here with GCU. We have several different ways to submit new business as far as telephonic. You can do an open enrollment or a guarantee issue and have it done in 15 minutes with a policy number established over the telephone. As far as membership, there's no religious questions because GCU stands for the Greek Catholic Union. But there are no religious affiliation questions on the application at all. I know there's a couple companies want to know if you're a Christian or something like that. You won't see that anywhere on the business. You'll become a member of GCU with your first piece of submitted business. Okay, GCU also has a bonus program. I'm not going to mention the numbers, but it's very lucrative and very easy to qualify for. You have a 3-month window there to qualify for the brokers or for the bonus program. It's a fast start type of bonus. If you have any questions about that, you can send them in and we can talk about them. Todd will answer some of your questions if you have questions on that. But you know, it's a good way to pick up some extra money just for doing what you normally do anyway, and that's outwriting business. Okay, so let's take a look at the rates. I want to show you Arizona first. We're getting a lot of business out of the state of Arizona, and we were able to convince the reinsurer to promote the map in Arizona the way we wanted it out there. Arizona's some of the companies, you'll see when I put the map up here what I'm talking about. But if you take the rate in Arizona, first off, let me highlight what these rates are. We start now that you see there at the monthly rate at age 67. And we also have up there age 72. And the reason I've done that, and we have not put 65 on there, is because we wanted to take that 65 bullseye off of our back. If you've been in this business for any length of time, I know you've been out there talking to people, and somebody will say to you, the agent, well, you know what, Bill, I've been fighting with this hip for about 2 years. It's really painful, and the doctor's already told me I'm going to have a hip replacement, but I got like a $5,000 deductible on my major medical, and I'm just going to wait till I get on Medicare in a couple of months, go get my supplement, and I don't want to pay anything out of my pocket. So I know you've heard stories like that, so that's why we didn't continue to shave the rate on down at 65. It is the same price as 65, 66, and 67. We didn't want to be the absolute cheapest at age 65, and that is the reason why. So if you take a look at the discount, only one person has to apply. So I think that's huge to you and I when we're out there selling. In other words, you don't have to get both people to get the discount to get the reduction. You might be sitting there talking with a person who's in good health and his spouse or live-in, brother, sister, whatever, is maybe on oxygen or in a wheelchair or treating for active cancer. You know you can't write them. You can still give the healthy person that 7% discount, so it gives us a lot of sizzle in our presentation, you might say. But if you take the GCU discount, age 67, female, non-smoker in the lowest area factor, you see that rate at 120.88, and when you shave the discount, it's 112.42. At age 72, we're at 137, and then you drop that down to 127, and you stop and look at the competition, Humana, Medco, things like that. You've got a pretty good sizable advantage right there. So very, very good offering in Arizona. Now take a look at the map, and the only Area 2 in the entire state of Arizona is in the 850 area code. And that, I think, is Phoenix. If you get outside of just a couple of smaller suburbs of Phoenix, like where the Arizona Cardinals play, I can't think that, it might be Tempe or something like that, you're going to be in the Area 1 factor, even though you can't tell you left Phoenix. So very, very good rates in almost the entire state of Arizona. If you want a copy of that map, if you got people in your downline, a lot of times somebody will call you up and they say, well, I'm in the 864 area. What's my rate there? Well, you can look right up to the upper left-hand corner and see, well, 864, that's Area 1. So that gives you some marketing sizzle when you're talking to other agents if you're trying to bring them into your operation. Illinois. I was just in Illinois a couple days ago doing a presentation up there. Actually, a couple weeks ago, I was in Michigan yesterday. We're at 112.87, put the discount on there. As you can see, we're at 104.97. At age 72, we start out at 133. With the discount, we drop down to 124.97. Very good rate in Illinois. Indiana, I believe, is next. We're at 106.20 with the discount, 114 without, 126 with the discount, 135 out at age 72. So very strong product. We think we're going to be doing quite well. Another thing you want to take a look at, guys, gals, is in the over right-hand corner on where it says the effective date. If you look right below my little yellow mark right there, it shows the effective date. Our offering is on 5/18 of this year, so that's a very fresh rate in Indiana, to where you look down at Medco, who's a little cheaper than we are at age 72, about $1. So how much longer? You guys been in this business for a while, you know they're already a year past that rate. You know, and I know that'll be ticking up shortly. So we're going to be in really, really good shape in Indiana for quite some time to come. The same thing in Ohio. If you take a look at our rate at 122.16 or 144.98 at age 72, with the discount, that drops us down to 113.61. Shenandoah is just a little bit higher than we are without the discount. Their discount's 5, ours is 7, so that's still going to give us a competitive advantage in the state of Ohio. Pennsylvania, domicile state for GCU. As you can see, they wanted to have a decent rate there, and I think they've accomplished that. If you take that discount at age 72 at 139, that's pretty darn good. You got a lot of companies out there that are probably going to go up in the very near future, but 139.23 is a very strong rate. 117.31 at age 67. One of the things that I encourage agents to do, a lot of times an agent will be talking about a new company, and we'll call them and talk to them and say, well, what's your rates at 65? And we will send it to them. We'll say, well, I got one here that's just about as good. Well, take a look at 75 and 78 also, because a lot of times companies have had competitive advantages in different age groups over their other companies, and there's reasons why they do that. So look at the entire rate sheet when you get these things, and figure out who is going to be the best buy for your policyholder. We also have a very competitive Plan G on this product. I just don't have time here to go through all that today. Here's your rates with the household discount, rates with and without. So I put all the states up there. If you're in Wisconsin, check that plan rate out at 89.17. That's just the base rate. Then you got to add your riders to it, but it's still extremely competitive in Wisconsin. That's one of our top producing states right now. As you can see, if you're listening in Virginia, or if you have marketers in Virginia, you can see why we want to get that rate approved there also at 104.90, $97.56 for a Plan F. Pretty strong price in Virginia. Okay, so talk a little bit about what the GCU Express application is, and I'll try not to spend a whole lot of time on all of these. I want to get you back out into the field. The Express application, guys, gals, it's not a drug screen. It's not a pre-qualification call. What we're telling you here is if you learn how to use this to your advantage, you can complete the application in full over the telephone, and if you do it properly, eliminate buyer's remorse from your policyholder, whether you're face-to-face or whether you're selling over the phone. I started selling Medicare supplements back in 1984. We didn't have cell phones back in those days. Everything was on paper. Everything was hand walked through. But with today's technology, you can actually take this Express app and use it to your advantage, and you can really eliminate a lot of things that cause us grief, which is travel sometimes. And another thing is a lot of times, time. Time is money in this business. So no paper except for the replacement form where necessary. You can submit that application. It's got very simplified underwriting. We're looking at about 96% of the policies being applied for, getting issued. If you're doing open enrollment and or guarantee issue, it's about a 15-minute phone call. Okay, so some of the other benefits are, I think, extremely important. One of the things that I like to talk about is something that we all deal with in this business is when I say immediate results of the sale. Well, if there's anybody on the end of the webinar that's been in this business for any length of time, have you ever had a policy get declined? I know I have had several over the last 31 years in this business. So immediate results of the sale give you a lot of, leg up on the competition. Let me give you an example of how this can be so beneficial to us. Let's say that you're sitting there talking to a couple of prospects and or one, whatever the situation is, and it doesn't go the way we want it to go. We get a decline, and we all get declines in this business. And you're sitting there at their kitchen table, and the underwriter says, well, I need to speak with the agent, and the underwriter tells you, the agent, Bill, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to approve this. My question is this: when you get a decline, would you rather get it 2 or 3 weeks later, or would you rather get it while you're face-to-face already in the home with the policyholder? It's a lot easier for you to just say to the policyholder, well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Jones, based on what you told me and the money you're paying for your Medicare supplement, I think we got some other opportunities, but GCU might not qualify for the rate here. So let's take a look at maybe a Mutual of Omaha or an AARP or whoever you have in your kit that's a little bit more liberal in underwriting. That saves you having to call a week, 10 days, 2 weeks later, however it is it takes you to find out whether you got the decline, and you get back on the phone with the policyholder. You try to get back in the house. You have to drive back to their house. Say it's an hour one way and an hour back. You got to pay for gasoline again to get there, get back. And sometimes it goes like this. Well, Bill, you know what? I hadn't heard anything. I got a little nervous. I just went ahead and paid my other policy. I appreciate you trying to help me, but I'll just stay where I'm at. It's real easy for that to happen over the telephone once they've been declined. You have a lot better chance of going from point A to point B if you're face-to-face with them already, is what I'm getting at. So that's some very good benefits for you and I as far as immediate results of the sale. That saves you money, that saves you time, that saves the policyholder time. So again, less travel for you. If the policy gets issued, we get you paid quicker, and lo and behold, you can help avoid mistakes on the application. I know I make several of those in my when I submit apps. I'm always forgetting something. Okay, so I'm going to buzz through this application. You guys have seen hundreds of applications over the years. I want to point out a couple of things so that you'll be familiar with the Express app when I get to that portion of the interview. And basically, personal information is in part one of the application. Part two is your plan selection. Are you selling an A, an F, a G, or an N? We do have a couple of states that offer that we have to offer other products. And usually the tobacco use question will be located right here in a plan selection so that you'll know whether am I quoting tobacco premium or non-tobacco. If you don't see the tobacco use question, that means that that state requires that tobacco use question to be located with the health questions. But it'll be either here or with the health questions. Part three is your eligibility. Are they eligible for Medicare Part A? If they are, put the date down. If they're not, when will they be eligible? Same with Part B. You guys have seen all of this. I'm not going to, again, I'm going to buzz right through this. Part four is your Medicare and insurance information. What do they currently have? Do they currently have a group plan? Do they currently have an existing Medicare supplement? Question number 4. Or number 5, do they have an employer or union group plan? About 99% of the time, either 3, 4, or 5 will be checked yes. The other 2 will be checked no. So if they got a Medicare supplement, you know you're going to check no on 3 and 5. This is very important right here. If you're doing a telephonic app, and we hope you are, the general information, the underwriter will ask you, the agent, Bill, did you read the general information located on page 3 of the application? And the correct answer is always yes. If you say no, or if the policyholder says no when they ask them, that'll stop the interview right there. So guys, here's how I handle the general information when I'm sitting with the policyholder. I'll say, Mr. Jones, first off, let me cover this with you because the underwriter may ask you this when we call them here in just a minute. First off, you need to know you do not need more than one Medicare supplement policy. If you purchase our policy, you may want to evaluate your existing coverages and make sure you don't have multiple coverage. And after buying this policy, if you ever become eligible for Medicaid, you have certain rights and privileges, and I want you to call me so I can walk you through them. Take a minute here and look at 4, 5, and 6 while I'm going ahead with the application, getting my information down here. And that's how I handle it. I don't read 4 in entirety, 5 or 6 in its entirety. That way, if the underwriter says to the policyholder, Mr. Jones, did you have a chance to review the general information on page 3 of the application? And he says, well, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Then I will step in on that phone call and I'll say, you know, Mr. Jones, that's where I was telling you, you do not need more than one Medicare supplement. You remember? Oh, yeah, I remember that. So that's kind of a point that I try to make sure that they're aware of that may be asked of them. I assure you it will be asked of you, the agent, when you do the telephonic app. Okay, part 7 is the household and premium discount information. Pretty simple. Policy discount, yes or no. Are there between 2 and 5 adults over the age of 30 living in the home, yes or no? If they are, name of that adult, put their social security number down there, and they will verify that as a real person through the social security number. They'll do that right there while you have them on the phone. So have that information readily available, and they will get the discount. Part 8 is your premium payment and admin. Initial premium, how many months are you doing it? Are you doing a monthly bank draft? Are you doing a yearly premium? And if so, put that down there. The requested effective date, if other than the application date. Let me give you an example. This is what day of the month? This is the 24th day of September. So let me get back to my calendar here. Let's say that I'm doing an application on, let's go back 2 weeks, on the 10th of September. And that's the day I'm in front of the policyholder. So I'm taking this application on 9/10, and let's say that we get it approved on a phone call about 15, 20 minutes later, and they say, Bill, what do you want for the effective date? And I say, how about 10/1? And what's the bank draft date? I want the 5th of the month. You see, we can do it anywhere from the 1st to the 28th. Okay, so here's how the drafts occur. In this example I just give you, I wrote it on the 10th, it got approved, and they asked me what I wanted for an effective date. I wanted a 10/1 effective date and a draft on the 5th. That means that they will draft in the next couple of days. They will tell the policyholder that, and they'll say, okay, Mr. Jones, now we're going to draft your bank account within the next couple of days. Is that okay? If he says yes, then that will take care of the October premium payment. They will not have another bank draft until the 5th day of November. Okay, so let me give you another scenario to where that doesn't work that way, so that you make sure you explain it to your policyholders. Let's say, again, you write it on the 10th, it gets approved, and they say, Bill, what do you want for an effective date? I want October the 1st. Okay, the policy will become effective on October the 1st, and what do you want for the recurring bank draft dates? And I say the 15th. Now, here's how that's going to work. Wrote it on the 10th, it got approved on the 10th. I told them I want a 10/1 effective date and a 10/15 recurring bank, or a 15th of the month recurring bank draft. So now they're going to draft within the next couple of days for the October premium. Then they will draft on the 15th of October for the November premium. If you explain that to your policyholders, they're okay with it, or they will say, well, just go ahead and make it the 10th so I don't get that double draft. But if you don't and they get blindsided, then they get a little aggravated with you and us as a company. So make sure you explain it that way to them. Let them make the decision. Let them know that if they want the 15th of the month to be their draft, then if the 1st is the effective date, they're going to get hit on the 15th for the November premium. If you keep the draft date within 10 days of the effective date, you don't have that problem at all. Any questions, again, guys, just go ahead and let us know. We'll spend some more time on that. The application is pretty simple. It's a yes/no application. Any of these questions answered yes, you know the policy is not going to be issued. So if you're doing a telephonic app, and again, I hope you are, if you hit any of these questions and the answer is yes, not going to go. So that way you know right up front that it's not going to be issued. If all the questions are answered no, go ahead and get their prescription medicine, get it in there so that we can do the prescription history check when you make the call to us. And make sure that, here's one of the things that I about had a heart attack the first time I'd done this. They're going to read fraud and disclosure warnings once they get to the signatures of the policy. And they'll say, there's a place on there that if anybody who knowingly tries to defraud an insurance company can receive fines and time in prison. And so you don't want them to be blindsided by that. I always tell the policyholder, I said, now, we might put you in insurance prison if you're not telling us the truth here. And I always make a joke out of that. But it kind of lightens the mood, but it's kind of terrifying the first time you hear them say all the fraud and disclosure warnings. But that is part of our business. We are supposed to make the policyholders aware of that. We're supposed to read all that stuff to them. Okay, moving right along. Face-to-face, paper. We still get a lot of paper applications. About 45 to not quite 50% of the business is paper still. When we started doing the Telephonic Express app, it was, we had a hard time getting it to 10% telephonic, and then now we've got it up to 50%. And guys, I'm telling you, that is so much better doing business that way. If you'll just take time to learn how to do this, I can't tell you how valuable it is to your practice. We also have available an online express app now that is extremely beneficial to you and I. I'll give you some examples of that here shortly. First thing you're going to do, let's say you're doing face-to-face selling and you are at the kitchen table. You're going to dial the toll-free number, 866, that's the underwriting number, 579-3418, and you will complete what is known as your portion of the interview. That's the agent appointment process. The first thing the underwriter is going to ask is for your underwriting or your agent writing number. When you give the underwriter your writing number, that will immediately let her know that you are appointed, or if there's a problem with your appointment, she can proceed with the underwriting call, and then at the end of the review, she'll tell you what you need to do to get your appointment in order. She'll ask you your applicant's name, what you want for the effective date, which you should have already established. That's why I showed that app. What you want for the bank draft date. Do you want us to mail the policy to you or the policyholder? We'll do it one way one time and then another way the next. It's up to you in each individual case. The city and state that the application is taken in, the name of the carrier that you're replacing if you are indeed replacing. And at that point, she'll say, okay, Bill, put the policyholder on the phone. Now, guys, at this point, the underwriter's going to ask all the basic questions. So she's now going to go through that application that you and I just looked at. It won't be in exact order, and where you'll find a big difference is when you look down here at question number 7, the household premium discount. You see I got number 9 in front of that and number 8 at the bottom. Now why is that? I will tell you exactly why this is important to you and me. When the underwriter's talking to your policyholder, if you're doing face-to-face or if you're doing a three-way call, you'll hear the phone call yourself. You'll hear all the questions yourself. But if you're doing a face-to-face and the underwriter is talking to your policyholder, you will hear her go down through the questions, the health questions. And then you will hear her go through the medications. Here's why these are out of order. If they hand the phone back to you after the health questions and the medication, and you don't hear her verifying the account number and the checking information, you know you need to be looking into your kit for your plan B and be starting to think about where you're going to go from there. Because if they do not verify premium, you're going to get a decline. And that's why I have those out of order. But once you hear them going through the premium payment, they're verifying the routing number, the lower left-hand corner check. There's a 9-digit number there. They'll ask the client to repeat that, and then once they give them that routing number, they'll tell them the name of the bank. Say, oh, that's the Bighorn Bank in Thermopolis, Wyoming. That's correct. And can I get your account number? You'll hear them say all that. Once you get that done, you know you've got a sale on there, and you can start getting prepared for what you do next. Okay, at that point, once they verify the premium and all the fraud and disclosure warnings, she'll say, Ms. Jones, that concludes your portion of the interview. I need to speak with your agent for just a second. Now, guys, this is the most important part of any telephonic sale that you will do. Once that phone comes back to you or me, we want to do certain things the certain way. Let me go back here. So the phone comes back to me, the agent. I know I heard her verify, and I know we got an approval. She say, okay, Bill, the policy's approved. Give me just a second, and I'll give you the policy number. So at that point, she's going to read the policy number to me. But before she has a chance to do any of that, once that phone comes back to me, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my speaker button. I don't call on their phone unless they have a speaker button. If they don't, I'll use my iPhone because I can put it on speaker. You can't do the whole interview on speaker. I assure you they will tell you to turn it off. I've tried. And once you get that phone back and hit the speaker button for this portion of it, very important, because here's how you eliminate buyer's remorse. Phone comes back to me, the agent, she says, okay, Bill, the policy number is 2896344. And guess where I write that? If I'm replacing a Medicare supplement, I write it right on the Medicare, on the replacement form. If and I'm also going to write it in a couple other places on any of the things I'm going to leave with them. I want them to know what their policy number is. So she'll say, okay, it's effective, going to be effective on 10/1, and she'll verify a couple other things with me. And at that point, I'm going to say, okay, Adriana, let me read this back to you, make sure I got this right. The policy number is 2896344, correct? That is correct. I'm going to have a 10/1 effective date of this year, correct? That's right. My premium is going to be $120 a month. We're going to draft on the 5th of each month, correct? That's correct. Now, Adriana, our policy does not have any waiting periods for pre-existing conditions, right? That's correct. So it would be okay if we got a hold of her current company and let them know that we don't want them to draft her bank account in October because she has new coverage. Is that, would you say that's okay? Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Adriana. Have a great day. I hang up. Now, why do I want my policyholder to hear that? Maybe this is a person I've never talked to before. Maybe there's no existing relationship there. I want her to hear with her ears from the insurance company that, yeah, here's your policy number. It's approved 10/1, no waiting periods. You're good to go. So then, guys, I take it one step farther. I say to my policyholder, I said, now, grab your current ID card. Let's take a look at that. There should be a toll-free number on the back of it. At that point, I'm going to pick up the telephone, and I'm going to call her current insurance carrier, and I'm going to say, you know what, Ms. Jones has other coverage. I'll identify myself as Bill Ellsworth. I'm an insurance agent in the state of Missouri, sitting here with Ms. Jones, her policy numbers, all of this. Then they're going to ask to verify that by talking to the policyholder, and then the policyholder will say, yeah, it's okay, you can talk to this guy. At that point, I'm going to say, Ms. Jones is going to be changing insurance coverage. We want you to remove her from the automatic bank draft. Don't take any money out of her account in October. Do you need me to write a letter to state that? 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you no because they've already got approval from the policyholder. They'll say, okay, we've removed it from bank draft. You thank them. If they want you to write a letter, go ahead and write it, but very seldom will they do that in today's world. So now I've done something for this policyholder that a lot of agents don't want to take time to do, and that's give her a new policy with a better rate, but I've also taken care of her other cancellation with her current carrier. I have done everything for her. There's no reason for her to worry about whether she's going to be approved. She's heard it. She knows what her new premium is, and they will be very thankful for the process that you have available for them. Another situation, guys, gals, where this is huge for you and I in the sales field. Let's say it is instead of the 24th of the month, which I think that's today. Yes, it's we go down we go down the calendar to the let's say that we go down to the 29th of the month. That means there's only 1 day left in the month. There's 30 days in September. And you're sitting there talking to a policyholder who just got a 20% rate increase for their Medicare supplement. And they are in good health. They're going to be a good risk. And you only got 1 day left to get this done. So you know the old way, there's no way in the world you could take a policy back to your office, send it in, get an approval in 1 day. So now you have a tool in your kit to where if you get good at this telephonic app, you actually can get an answer, get an approval, get a policy number, and then cancel the other policy, and they don't have to pay that rate increase, not even 1 month. And that will really make you look good in their eyes because that's just not a capability that a lot of companies have. So it's a very, very good tool for you and I as agents. The policy gets issued, you and I move on to our next opportunity. The remote sale, which is a 3-way call, I'm going to buzz right through this. It's basically the same as a kitchen table. The big deal with this is you're doing a 3-way telephone call. I'm in Kansas City, policyholders in Lake of the Ozarks, and the underwriters in Salt Lake City, Utah. So we're all on the phone, but I get to stay on the phone the entire time. Again, I can't coach. You know, I got to let my policyholder answer the HIPAA-protected information. Now, I can help out with like name, date of birth, things like that if they don't hear well, or if they don't understand the Medicare-Medicaid difference question. I can pitch in with that. I can do a lot of that, but what I can't do is answer health questions or medications. They got to be able to provide that themselves. And it's up to you and I to make sure on a 3-way call that we have the policy sold, that the person knows what they're buying. That's not a job the underwriter will do for us. Their job is to underwrite it. Our job is to sell it. Okay, so make sure you have that sale made before you call. Here's some very important things that help prepare that policyholder to make sure they have readily information. First off, make sure that they can hear. A lot of seniors wear hearing aids, and that's okay, but some of them don't hear well even with hearing aids. And if you have that situation, let the underwriter know at the very beginning. Say, hey, Adriana, Mr. Jones has a hard time hearing over the phones. That way she'll slow down and speak a little louder, try to keep the frustration down to a minimum. But you know we're going to ask things like Social Security, Medicare number, banking information, their medications, their doctor's name and address. If they have to get up each time we ask one of those questions, that's frustrating for them, frustrating for you. So make sure that they have this stuff readily available. Sometimes we get people say, hey, could you mail me that cheat sheet? That's what I call a little cheat sheet. And I say, sure, no problem, we'll get that out to you. The replacement form can be faxed into 385-207-7882. If you have to have a replacement form, no need for it in GI or open enrollment. Just in a fully underwritten case, it's one thing we still have to do. I'm going to show you another process to where you don't have to send the replacement form in. And that's right here, the electronic app. This is a new thing that we have available for GCU for the AEP that's fast approaching. Guys, you can do this policy, you can complete it online by the agent, with the exception of the medical and the banking information. You don't have to ask any of that on the Online Express app. We will do that through a telephone verification. The underwriter will call your client within minutes, no longer than 24 hours, and complete that application, and you will get the email results right as soon as it happens. So what I'm telling you is you can do this if you're in front of your policyholder and you have internet access. You can do it right there in their home. Or if you get one of those little hotspot things that plug into the side of your laptop, that works like that also. You get on your agent website, I'll show you here in a minute, and just do it right there. Here's another time that this can be very, very beneficial to you. Let's say you're really, really behind schedule during AEP. I know sometimes appointments take a lot longer. Sometimes we're there 5 minutes, sometimes we're there 2-3 hours, just depending on the situation. So let's say you're behind for your next appointment really, really bad, and you just talk to a man and a woman, and they both are in good health, and you don't have time to sit there and listen to a 15-minute phone call per person. Maybe a 20-minute phone call per person. If it's fully underwritten, it'll probably be 20 to 22 minutes per person, and you just don't have that time. All you have to do now is fill out the app, take it back to your home, prepare your policyholder, say you're going to get a call from our underwriting department. They will verify all these health questions that I've already went through with you and your medications that we've already done, and they'll verify all that with you within 24 hours of today's date. Now, here's what you do. You take the app with you. You don't have to pick up any money. You don't have to pick up a check. You go back to your office that night. You get on your agent portal, and you log on Express app, Online Express app, and you just put all the information in there. Hit submit, and that thing goes directly to the underwriting department, and that person will get a call the first thing the next day, or whenever you tell us on the app. There's a place on the app for you to fill in when's the best time to call. Now, guys, if anytime you're gonna do something like that, tell your policyholder, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, expect a phone call from an 866 number or maybe an 801 number. And if you see that, please answer it, because you know and I know a lot of these people got a caller ID, and if they don't know the number, they just don't answer it. So prepare your policyholder to expect that call from an unknown number that they're not familiar with if they have caller ID. So you can take that, enter it in there, and that'll speed up your underwriting no more than 24 hours. Or you can simply, after you have done the online app while you're sitting there with them, you filled everything out, you now can pick up that telephone and call the underwriting department on the underwriting hotline that I showed you earlier, and the client will get on the underwriter will get on with the client, and they'll complete the information that involves nothing more than the medical and the banking. So that takes only about 9 to 12 minutes. So we've cut the underwriting time on the phone from about 20 minutes, 22 to 23 minutes, down to 9 to 12 minutes, because everything that you filled out on the app's already there. All they now got to do is just verify who they are, get right into the medical and the banking, and it's done. getting a lot of really good feedback on this new process. Policy number is issued immediately on approval, and a copy of that application is issued in the back of their policy when they get the policy in the mail. And again, we get you paid quickly. So let me show you the screen that you will get. It'll look just like this right here. I'm taking this right off my agent website. You're going to get the GCU header up there since 1892. You're going to move over to your support button, and you're going to drop down to the very bottom where it says Online Express App. You're going to click on that little icon, and then it's going to come up like this, and you're going to click Start Application. Once you click that Start Application, all the states that you're appointed in will drop down. If you're appointed in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, North Carolina, they'll all drop down. But if you're only appointed in one state, that will be the only state that will drop down in that menu box. So you choose the state that you're interested in, and this menu will come up just like this. Now, it's continuous on the screen, but I had to break it down in different screenshots so you guys can see it all. And so in this situation, it's a Michigan app that filled in, and the application date was the day we prepared this, was 6/8/2015. And then, guys, every time you come into a question that has an asterisk beside it right there, that means it's required. You got to fill something in. So when you come over to the applicant's gender, you're going to click on this little down arrow right here, and then that'll drop down a box and say male or female. You just click on it, it fills in. Every one of those will do the same thing. They'll ask you right here, is this an open enrollment or a guarantee issue? You come over here, click on that little down arrow, and there'll be yes or no. Your requested effective date. It's just pretty simple. You just simply go right on down through the application. They're going to ask you right here, do you want the policy sent to you or the applicant? Click on your little down arrow, and it'll tell you, you'll fill one of those in. Right here, do you have a household resident? Everything that's on that app, you're going to see right here in front of you now. You're going to drop down into your personal information on the applicant. We're going to ask that social security number. You're going to fill it in right there. The Medicare claim number. You see we got a menu here and a menu here. Social security number goes in the center. If it's in the first box right here, that means you're probably talking to somebody with Railroad Medicare. Generally speaking, though, it's going to be all right over here, and it'll be like the letter A, or in today's world, you'll see some T's out there for turning 65, which is a temporary number. You put those in there. The applicant's title, Mr. or Mrs., their height, their weight, the city and address in which it's taken in, the daytime phone, the evening phone, and then right here is what I was referring to earlier. We will do our best to reach the applicant at this time. There are occasions that prevent us from calling exactly at the specified time. I always tell my policyholder, guys, give us about an hour. If you want me to call you at 10 o'clock, it could be anywhere from 9 to 10, but you can write the call time right here. You know, best time to call the applicant, 10 a.m., whatever time that applicant tells you, fill it in right there. Then you got right here, are you covered under Medicare A and B? You click on the little down arrow. It'll say yes or no. If you click yes, it'll ask you for that Part A effective date. If you say no, when will you be eligible? Everything that's on the app will drop down in these menus. Very, very easy to do. Are you covered under medical assistance through the state Medicaid program? Yes or no. Again, all this stuff's on the application. Then you get right here, do you agree with the certification above? Well, I'm pretty sure you're going to want to check yes. And that's right here that you've done all this up here. You've actually recorded the information. And then you're going to come down, you're going to sign Marshall, Missouri, if that's where you're at. Producer's full signature, you put your name right there, your telephone number right here. Your email address will automatically fill in if you are currently contracted, which you should be. And then any comments that you want to make, you can put right here in this little box right here. Say maybe you want to draft, or you don't want them to draft until, so you're writing it on the 10th, but you don't want to draft until the 15th of that month because for the first initial premium, because that's when they get their Social Security check. Just anything you want to put on there, put it right there. Again, that says optional. You don't have to put anything if you don't want to. Put your signature date. It'll already fill in. And then you're going to come down here and you're going to click Submit the Application. Once you click that Submit the Application, it's just like an email. If you send somebody an email, you've been talking to somebody on the phone and you say, hey, I just sent you an email, And they say, well, I haven't got it yet, I haven't got it yet. And then about after 10 or 15 seconds, says, oh, there it is, it just popped up. This is the same way. You're submitting this application, and you get that button, just like an email going to the underwriter. At that point, the only two things that the underwriter really has to do at that point is Part 8 and Part 9. That's the premium admin and the medical questions. So you can see Part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is all the stuff you've already sent to them, so you can see why this is cutting down the time on the underwriting from about 22 minutes down to about 9 to 10 minutes. So it's a great, great tool for you and I as agents. And guys, gals, I know I've given you a lot of information. If you do have questions or want to talk after the webinar, by all means, give us a call and we will go over that with you in detail. The tele-underwriting hours for AEP have been extended. If you look, if you're on the East Coast time, the underwriting from Monday through Friday will be there from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Central 7 to 10, Mountain 6 to 9. They're also going to be open on Saturdays. Now this is just the underwriting department. They'll be open on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central, 8 to 5 on Mountain. Now, guys, very, very important. If you don't have your license in order, let's say you're in Missouri and you want to sell a policy in Texas, make darn sure that you're appointed in Texas before you call us, because if you call during the extended hours or on a Saturday, the agency services department is not there. So start doing a little proactive thinking on how you want to go about doing your business. Make sure your appointments are in order before you get started in AEP. If that happens during AEP and you're not appointed, you're going to have a couple of days delay. We'll get it fixed real quick. But this is just the underwriting department that is staying open, and we need you to make sure that you're up to speed and in good standing as far as appointments go. Okay, as it says right there, make sure you're appointed in all states in which you wish to sell in for AEP. Help eliminate buyer's remorse with the electronic application. Again, there's the states in which we are ready to go. The 7% household discount is available. Agency services number is 844-502-6780. And if you call that number, tell the girls that Bill said hi. They'll be glad to hear from you. Oh gosh, I give those girls a hard time. It's a wonder they don't string me up about half the time. Okay, here's a contact sheet information. If you guys want a copy of that, let us know. Todd Weiss is on the phone here. He'll probably jump on here in just a minute. Again, my name is Bill Ellsworth. I thank you for listening to me. If you have any questions with licensing, get a hold of Candace and Cindy, or if you need supplies, that's also on your agent portal. You can order supplies right there, and we'll get you up and running as quickly as possible. So let me back up one time there. Todd, are you on here yet? He's got